The Igbos are the only ethnic group in Nigeria. They entered Lagos. They own almost 2 or 3 local governments and build houses and live there. The Senate passed the Southeast Development Commission. And this is something we feel should have been done immediately after the war. There should have been a special commission to take care of the destruction and the effects of the civil war on the Igbo. A group of very mercantile people, hardworking people, who on their own, where would you think you would have taken money to do all they had done? Almost all the Igbo people that I know, after the Civil War, the billionaires are all self-made. Whether in the aviation industry, you look at Ojema, whether you look at Chief Okonkwo, I can tell you that the Igbos are self-made. The Igbos are very proud people. The Igbos are very mercantile. The Igbos are the only ethnic group in Nigeria that when they enter Kano State, they build houses in Kano State for themselves. They don't rent. They turn around the place. When they enter Lagos, they own almost 2 or 3 local governments and build houses and live there. There's no place they go to, they don't make impact. But other Nigerians will come to my state and rent houses and stay for 15 years and go back without building a structure. But the Igbos are not the same. They are not like that.
That's the Senate President Godswill Akpabio pouring encomiums on the Igbos. This is not the first time we are seeing elites in Nigeria praising and pouring encomiums on the enterprising, the resilient nature of the Igbo people. Barely few months after Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration commenced, Kashim Shettima was quoted as saying that Nigeria will not move forward unless the Igbos are incorporated into Nigerian politics. Everyone knows that the Igbos are enterprising. Everyone knows that the Igbos are dogged. Everyone knows that the Igbos has this resilient and determined spirit to succeed wherever they found themselves. Nigeria knows that the Igbos are the missing piece in the development of this country. They are all aware of this, but rather than doing the right thing, they will rather hate on the Igbos. Igbophobia is real in Nigeria. Rather than taking a lesson from the Igbos, rather than coming together to ask how did the Igbos survive the war, how did the Igbos rise from the ruins of a 3-year war where their region was destroyed, where their region was balkanized, where their resources stolen, where their money confiscated by the federal government and they were only allowed to go home with 20 pounds. How did they rise from neglect and marginalization to become one of the most successful business enterprises in this country? How did they become self-made billionaires in this country despite surviving on 20 pounds? How are they able to go to other states in this country, buy land in that state, build houses and become successful in that state ahead of indigenes in that state? Just like the Senate President has said, the Igbos are the only tribe in this country that owned local government in Lagos. What the Senate President is simply saying that Igbos own Lagos, they are co-owners in Lagos. Those of you that are angry whenever the Igbos make comments like this, I hope you will also be angry with the Senate President for saying that the Igbos own parts of Lagos. The Senate President deliberately said that other parts in this country are lazy. They come to his hometown, they don't do anything. But the Igbos come to his hometown, they develop the region, buy land, build houses, and become successful. What Nigerians should be thinking is, if the Igbos can do all of this despite rising from the adversity of the war, that means they will do exceedingly well if they are being incorporated into Nigerian politics. The Igbo people are simply an embodiment of resilience, determination and success. Their story is one of remarkable recovery from hardship and it's a source of inspiration not only for Nigeria but for the world. The Igbos are the only tribe in Nigeria that face systemic neglect, discrimination and political exclusion. But despite facing all of this, they've managed to excel in almost every field of life. The Igbos are not only known for their resilience, but also their unique ability to thrive wherever they go. Do you know what it means for a region to hold down the Nigerian government for a 3-year civil war? Biafra was not only fighting the federal government, Biafra was equally fighting other Western powers that were in conjunction with the Nigerian government to ensure that Nigeria remained one. The Igbos faced wanton destruction of human life and physical properties during the war. After the war, the Igbos equally faced harsh policies from the Nigerian government. One of it was the financial disposition of their resources. Regardless of how much money an Igbo individual had in their bank account before the war, they were allowed to withdraw only 20 pounds after the war. This was a calculated attempt to effectively wipe out the financial base of an entire ethnic group. Properties owned by the Igbos in other parts of Nigeria were tagged abandoned properties and further stolen by the locals in that state. The cruelty and inhuman treatment meted against the Igbos by the federal government of Nigeria is not much talked about. Despite this crippling setback, the Igbos refused to succumb to despair. They've leveraged their entrepreneurial spirit and they began building from the scratch. Decades after the war, the Igbos have re-established themselves as a dominant force in Nigeria's economy. The Igbos' ability to overcome such systemic challenges is a testament to their resilience and determination. Today, despite the federal government neglect and marginalization, the Igbos are at the forefront of Nigeria's economy. They've excelled in trade, manufacturing, real estate, technology, and many other sectors in this country. What sets the Igbos apart are their adventurous spirit and willingness to invest in areas outside their ancestral home. Just like the Senate president cited, other tribes in this country will come to his hometown. In 15 years, they will not do anything to develop his hometown. This is what sets the Igbo people apart. They are known for migrating to other states, purchasing land and building homes and businesses. Their investment not only enrich this region but also foster economic integration and national unity. But rather than encouraging them for always developing their host communities, they've always received hatred. For instance, after the presidential election, you saw how the Lagos state government went out of their way to demolish houses, buildings belonging to mostly Igbo people. You saw how a $200 million investment belonging to landmark Paul Onwunibe was destroyed by the federal government because they want to build a coastal highway that will span for 20 years. But while the Igbo people have excelled in other sectors in this country like business, industry, education, their success in politics has been limited. Since Nigeria's independence in 1960, the political structure in this country has largely marginalized the Igbos, relegating them to the sidelines of national decision making. The exclusion is not due to lack of interest or because Igbo people don't have the capacity to lead in politics. No, the Igbos are known for their organizational skills, vision and dedication to excellence. But unfortunately, Nigeria's political system has been historically shaped by ethnic alliance and favoritism, often to the detriment of merit and inclusivity. Since independence to date, for a combined 40 plus years, the North has had a shot to produce the head of state or president of this country. The rest has been shared by the Southwest, the Yorubas. According to them, if you give Igbo man power, they will demand for Biafra. If you give Igbo man power, they will excel the more. If you give Igbo man power, they will overtake other tribes in this country and become more successful. Excluding the Igbo people from Nigerian political leadership has had far-reaching consequences for Nigeria. It has stagnated Nigerian development and growth. Without having the Igbos representing Nigeria at the highest level of government has robbed Nigeria of the unique perspective and innovative approach of the Igbos in decision making in this country. This is the reason why Nigeria is struggling with inefficiency, corruption and underdevelopment. The reason why Nigeria is still regarded as a third world country, a developing country, the poverty capital of the world, despite the vast human and natural resources, is because they've not harnessed the full potential of the Igbo people. The Igbo ethos of hard work, meritocracy and innovation could bring much needed reforms to the country governance. The Igbo people have been able to excel in this country despite government marginalization because they prioritize discipline, long-term planning and accountability. If these principles are being applied to public administration at the highest level in Nigeria, Nigeria will definitely see transformative changes in areas like infrastructure, healthcare, education, and resource management. At this point in the history of Nigeria, Nigeria needs people that will be able to manage the resources well, and the only people that will be able to do that very well are the Igbo people. Other tribes in this country have been given a shot to the presidency and we've seen how they've managed the resources. They've wasted it. For Nigeria to actualize its full potential, for Nigeria to move forward, for Nigeria to develop, Nigeria must prioritize inclusivity in government. This whole political marginalization charade of the Igbos must come to an end, and their contribution must be recognized and valued. This is not just about being fair to the Igbo people, it's about building a stronger and more united Nigeria. That is, if Nigeria wants to be united. The Igbo people's story of triumph over adversity should serve as a reminder to the Nigerian government that Nigeria could achieve its full potential if its people were given an equal chance to succeed. Nigeria must learn from the resilience and determination of the Igbos and create a political environment where their talents can be fully utilized. If the federal government of Nigeria can go ahead and do so, Nigeria will unlock a new era of prosperity, unity and progress, one that reflects the true potential of its people. So far so good, Nigeria is yet to use 10% of our potentials. If Nigeria must remain as one, the federal government should, as a matter of urgency, apologize to the Igbo people over what happened during the war. Wounds should be healed, broken hearts should be mended. The federal government presence must be fully represented in the Southeast. Igbos should also partake in the equal power sharing formula in this country. Only then will Nigeria experience true growth, development and prosperity. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.